Certainly iconic Spain. I'm still lost, but that looked kind of interesting, so I thought I'd go down there. Looks like the entry to something, so maybe I can hit the perimeter of the old area. Again, back to where I'm supposed to be. I just came the wrong way. I normally would come in from my right, and I'm now coming straight in at the entrance I initially came in, which, as you can see, the Camino, Santiago. Yesterday morning I commented on this artwork here, this sculpture that seems to allude to evolution, not realizing, that those three big buildings that you see in the background are the Museum of Human Evolution. At least I'm not stupid enough to not have recognized what this was all about. But what's interesting this morning I noticed that there appear to be at least two different designs of those representations of man. The two wide ones, three wide ones that you see, 1, 3, and 5, and then the two in the center. On the site of these buildings, this museum, there used to be originally a convent. Then it was abandoned for whatever the reason, and a military barracks was created, and then it was demolished, and this entire block was just an area of refuse. And now it's been transformed into what is probably, or hoped to be, one of the great centers on Earth of the evolution of man, research as well as museum. After discovering that it was here, when I in fact had read earlier that it was, but had not remembered, I decided to stay another day, since this is one of my avocations. And I should not have even anticipated not staying for it. Although I find this morning, as my second morning of not leaving on a daily walk, that I'm missing it already. I don't know what it is about the Camino walk. I think it's probably the challenge of walking, of coping and overcoming the pain, of knocking out the kilometers non-stop if possible, of feeling your body pushed to a limit. I've walked around to the back just to see what I can see, and all that I noticed of interest is that on the first building, the one on the right now, is that graphic. I don't know what it might imply. And slowly swinging across the middle building onto the far left building, or west building, is this graphic. And again, I'm not sure what it implies. Maybe it's left to your imagination. Again, at this corner, the graphic continues around. Maybe I'll learn inside what it is. What always intrigues me in wandering about European and South American, and to some degree Asian countries, is how the old is mixed with the new. Here, for example, a very plain old apartment building, still in use, perhaps, but maybe not. Those windows, the top floors look broken out, but basically then abandoned. And then this building, an earlier building, earlier construction materials, etc., still sits there. And next to it, modern, very pretty apartment units. Now this sculpture, as so many times such sculptures do, leaves this brain mystified. No, it doesn't. We're getting it now. Can't miss it now. The eye, the nose cavity, the second eye, the raised brows above the eye holes. We've got it. So now for one of the most exclusive and novel experiences in my life, I am standing inside the skull of an ancient man, a hominid, looking out through his eyes at a modern world. What would I think were I he and had this view? What would I think of the beasts that travel at incredible speeds? An old man picks up after his dog. Class. The landscape in front of the museum purports an attempt to recreate the landscape of Atapuerca Sito, the site of the caves and the findings, from about 8,000 years ago, when man first began to plant grains and shift from hunter-gatherer to farmer, if you will. I'm not sure that this now reflects the ideal on this placard, but it is a clever approach. Mixed in with the trees were the grains, as it might have been done in that era. But you can imagine 8,000 years ago that even then some period of time had transpired while they learned the craft of planting seeds and recovering the grains. And then at what point in time did they learn to manipulate the future grains by the selection of the current ones? Last night I saw this fountain erupt. All those little dots you see on the water are fountain heads, and it just is a crescendo of water, probably not more than 6 feet in height, and it varies like waveforms and so forth. So very pretty. The water features in the area are not on during the day, but are on at night when people begin to roam around and enjoy their social time. Moments ago, I was eating at a cafe, a donut, and got done, decided to go to the bathroom, took my half-finished small bottle of water, thought I put the cap on, stuck it into my pocket upside down, then walked to the bathroom, leaving a trail of water, not only dripping from my filled pocket, but down through my pants, all the way on the floor into the bathroom, which I discovered once the bottle was empty and I had gone to the bathroom. I had ejected, of course, more water on the floor and on my pants than my body is any more capable of doing. They're coming towards us, the evolution of man. One of the most important displays is this wall. And what it depicts is the last 7 million years, starting with minus 11,780 years. So 12,000 years ago, or 10,000 years BC, pretty much the classic time we think of the beginning of the civilization or the agricultural shift of man. What's interesting here is go back 7 million years and we have names I don't even recognize, nor do I recognize what form they were in. These right here. And then 6 million years, including this Kadab. I have no knowledge of that, nor the Sahelanthropus, no knowledge of that. Then we go to 5 to 4 million years. Australopithecus, which if either of those two, Ramidus, Manus, were Lucy, I don't know. But then I don't think Lucy came till 3 million. So we get up here in 4 to 3 million period. Claytops. Africanus didn't start yet. Australopithecus afarenus dominated a 1,000,000-year period. A 1,000,000-year period almost without competition. And then to the 3 million, we have to be Australopithecus africanus, and I assume that that is Lucy right there. I don't know who these Garhi is. Don't know that one. Afarensis died out shortly after 3 million years. Aeropithecus existed. I have no knowledge of that. And Bosai began just short of the 2 million period. Now in the 2 million it gets pretty crowded. You have Ergaster, I don't know, but that's pretty strong, almost more than 1 million years it survived, 2 into the 1 million period. Antecessor started towards the end. Heidelberg, a very short period of time there. Doesn't even necessarily show, doesn't even see where its bar is, if any. And Homo erectus began earlier than halfway through the 2 million period. Habilis existed just before and ended at Erectus. Did Erectus transition from Habilis or destroy Habilis? And Rudolfensis both existed simultaneously for a while in the 2 million period, as did Australopithecus sitabi. And here Robustus, again in its era, dominated, as did Boci for more than 1 million years. And then we get into the 1 million. This is where it comes to push or shove. Here you have Ergaster surviving into it, Ancestor surviving into it, Homo erectus going full bore strong into it, and dominating most of it. But during that period, Homo neanderthalis arises, maybe 700 million years, 700,000 years before 10,000 years ago. And Homo sapien almost at the same time arises. I didn't know that. And Homo sapiens survives into the period. You see just into the end, it gets in. Just before the 12,000 year period,